Amidst the copious hand-wringing recriminations and generalized anxiety about the state of the world today, I've been remembering 3 specific TV shows from years past. They made an impression on me then, and over the years I've been increasingly impressed by the value of their predictions. I present to you 3 prophets of doom who correctly predicted events we face now, arranged in the order of dark, really dark, and then so dark you can't see anymore. First up, Joel. There was a time when there were corners of the media landscape in which creativity was allowed. One such tiny corner was Minnesota's KTMA-TV 23, one of those low-wattage UHF stations that still retained independence from the corporate media conglomerates. In that tiny corner that was KTMA, in 1988, a guy named Joel Hodgson had the opportunity to create Mystery Science Theater 3000, or MST3K. An immediate cult classic in Minnesota, the young me was there at the time, that quickly became a cult classic nationwide. Hodgson and a team of writers took the trope of mocking bad B movies, think Elvira, Svengoolie et al., to new levels of parody and satire. A good history of the show has been crowdsourced on Wikipedia. Yeah, really, it's detailing pop culture is one of the few good uses for the website Wikipedia. I'll put a link below. The show's opening theme song sets the mise-en-scène for the show and has proven to be prophetic of our time. Roll the footage. How real is that? To the corporations, workers are just faces in suits, to dislike and discard at the whims of their bosses. Don't like you? You get jettisoned. It doesn't matter if you did a good job. The deeper satire, though, lies within MST3K's motif of Joel, played by Joel Hodgson, being the lab rat for 2 mad scientists who stranded Joel on a satellite orbiting Earth. They force him to watch really cheesy movies, and props to MST3K for finding some of the worst shorts and full-length movies ever spawned. Joel and his robot friends respond to the movies with mostly clever jokes, which is the fun of MST3K. The jokes are mostly goofy and light, but they occasionally target the background dark reality. People are just things on which the media conglomerates experiment and extract information. Kind of like the monsters and villains in the movies preyed on people. Could Hodgson have imagined Facebook and related online cesspools with their mad scientists creating algorithms to experiment on their users' minds? Probably not in 1988, clever as he was and still is. It's still out there, by the way. He's still producing new content. I immediately wrote this text on the day that mad scientist and thief of others' intellectual property, Mark Zuckerberg, announced that his social media cesspool will no longer fact-check the garbage spewed there. He'll send you what he wants you to see, no matter how bad it is, and monitor your mind. You are the product in this not-too-distant future. Next up, Edison Carter. It's 1985 in the United Kingdom. Margaret Thatcher's claw marks are inflicting deep wounds in Britain as she leads the right-wing charge to sell off national assets to corporations. The future looked bleak, other than for the rich and powerful. Enter Max Headroom. People remember the computer-animated comedy character more than the movie drama Max Headroom 20 Minutes into the Future and the Max Headroom spin-off drama series. That's too bad, because the serious Max Headroom remains to this day one of the most prescient and biting satires ever. Its skewering of TV and society was so chillingly accurate, the series was blocked by corporate executives after only 1 season. The premise of the show is that in the not-too-distant future, all of society is controlled by media conglomerates using their economic power to manipulate markets, commerce, governments, and people. This was before the World Wide Web, so Max Headroom cast TV networks as the media tools of the oligarchic powers that own everything. The oligarchs lived in luxury, there is a small struggling middle class, and a large destitute rest of society. In this dystopian world, TV is everywhere. TVs are in every room, and even on the streets. It has been made illegal to switch off your TV. You can, though, change the channel from one network to another. TV networks compete with each other for viewers, ratings being constantly monitored in real time. It's what we now call the attention economy. Ratings are the most important commodity in this future because ratings determine advertising revenue, and TV exists to make money off of advertising. People exist as workers and consumers for the enrichment of the oligarchs. The Max Headroom drama centers on Edison Carter, the last remaining journalist. With the help of several other rebels, Edison investigates the oligarchs, exposing their corruption and the harms they inflict on people. He ruffles a lot of feathers and angers a lot of rich people, but his show produces high ratings for Network 23, so they grudgingly keep him on, the management trying to rein him in from digging too far into the dirty dealings of the oligarchy, especially within Network 23. Edison is the last principled reporter, the last voice for the people. The Max Headroom character is an artificial intelligence created from a memory dump of Edison's brain, created by orders of a Network 23 executive against Edison's will while Edison was comatose from a head injury. Max is a combination of the delirium in Edison's mind when Max was created and the technical sloppiness of the geek who created Max. The resulting madness and hubris define Max's personality, but Max also has a large amount of Edison's ethical values. Network 23 wanted to control Max, but he is able to travel at will through the TV cables, exploring like a curious child, popping up on TV screens all over the country to create mischief, but often assisting Edison in his investigations. Max Headroom showed us our world, a world controlled by media conglomerates that exploit people for profits, with only a few brave people fighting the system, while the technology the oligarchs created run amok. That 20 minutes is now. Finally, Dr. They. Fast forward to 2018. 9/11 has happened. The Great Recession has happened. Trump has happened. It can't get much worse, right? Of course it can. The 4th episode of the 11th season of The X-Files, entitled The Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, revealed that the dystopian future is now. And 6 years later, it is even more our dark reality. Just watch this.
Dr. They, I presume?
Kids today don't even know what this means. Why should they? I mean, when's the last time someone admitted doing something they were ashamed of? Even if caught on tape or doing it, they just say, well, that was taken out of context.
Yes, but why are you shaming me?
Someone who spent his life seeking the truth behind every great conspiracy, and you're only now finding out about me?
Perhaps it just goes to show how good you are at hiding in the shadows.
Who's hiding? I'm in the phone book. But nobody knows what's a phone book anymore.
I have to admit, what little I know of you, I got from a rather dubious online video.
Oh, did you like that? I made it. It's my new platform, Phony Fake News. It's a presentation of real facts, but in a way that assures no one will believe any of it.
To what end?
The bitter end. Which is why, when I became aware that you were finally aware of me, I felt a professional courtesy to meet with you and to tell you this in person. You're dead. Oh, I came out wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I meant your time, Agent Mulder. Your time has passed.
Okay, so what is or what was my time?
Well, it's a time when people of power thought that they could keep their secrets secret and were willing to do anything to keep it that way. Those days are past, gone. We're now living in a post-cover-up, post-conspiracy age. And I no doubt the kids will come up with some catchphrase for it. Poco or something. They'll say like, oh, that's so poco. That'll make you wish you really weren't dead.
As long as the truth gets out.
They don't really care whether the truth gets out because the public no longer knows what's meant by the truth.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, no one can tell the difference anymore between what's real and what's fake.
There's still an objective truth, an objective reality.
So what? I mean, you take this Mandela effect. Well, in the old days, I would never have come out and admitted to you, yes, I can change people's collective memories. And that would have meant that I can control the past. And if that's true, well, as Orson Welles once said, he who controls the past controls the future.
It was George Orwell that said that.
For now, maybe. Anyway, the point is, I can tell you all of this right out in the open because it doesn't matter who knows about it. They won't know whether to believe it or not.
To be honest, I'm not believing any of this.
Well, believe what you want to believe. That's what everybody does nowadays anyway. You're only proving my point, you twit. But full disclosure, you're right, I can't control people's minds. Although it turns out you don't really have to. All you need is some people to think it's possible. And then you've sown the seeds of uncertainty. All you really need is a laptop.
So that's what this has all been about? The spread of online disinformation?
Maybe. You know, our current president once said something truly profound. He said, nobody knows for sure.
What was he referring to?
What does it matter?
You'll have to watch the full episode to fully appreciate the character of Dr. They. Suffice to say that he is the man behind many manipulations of the American people. It's not a conspiracy, it's power doing what power does. His tactics include what he calls phony, fake news. Facts presented in such a way that no one can tell what's real anymore. Dr. They can succeed because nobody knows or cares what's true anymore. Plus, power no longer cares if it is caught in lies and scandals. We live, as Dr. They says, in a post-cover-up, post-conspiracy age. All that matters is power and the exercise of it. Some say we live in a post-truth society. Philosopher Ward Jones says we live in a post-trust society. Inspired by the Dr. They scene in that video clip, I say we live in a post-shame society. We still have truth. It's just that many people no longer care about virtue and responsibility, so they are willingly blind to truth and values. Nobody knows for sure, which leads to statements like the non-apology apology of sorry if anyone was offended, and then to I don't care about your feelings. Sure, some people are too easily offended, but if other people don't matter, if the only truth that matters is one's own desires, then we are left with the darkness of anarchy, the ideology that norms and authority are meaningless, and the nihilist anarchist's desires to concentrate truth and values into that single person's whims. That nihilism anarchism is a worldview so dark it can no longer see. In 2018, Dr. Thay's statement seemed a likely possibility. In 2025, We've blown past those statements into the full-on weaponized post-shame society. That includes Trump, the sequel, certainly, but it was never about Trump. That we can know for sure.